Hello there, this is MTG Degree, my name is Luke, and today we are starting a new series called What Happens If. There are many times in a game of Magic where two players are looking at the board and they're like, I don't really know what happens if you do that. And that's because the rules can sometimes be very complicated. If you take the comprehensive rules document and you put it page end to page end, it would reach to the moon and back. No, that's not actually true, but sometimes it can certainly feel that way. The rules are very complicated, and when you go read them, sometimes it doesn't actually feel that enlightening. You still don't know exactly what that means. So we're going to go through 3 examples per episode of real-world examples of complicated rules interactions, and hopefully we'll all learn how to play Magic a little bit better. Without further ado, let's get on to the first example. For our examples today, we're going to look at games of Commander. So I've got a Master of the Wild Hunt that I just put into play. And then I pass it to my opponent, they play a Shieldred, Whispering one. And then they pass the turn back to me. Now at this point, you see both of our creatures trigger at the same time. Shieldred says, I need to sacrifice a creature. And Master of the Wild Hunt says, I get a wolf. Well, this is really important, because I need to know which one happens first. If the Shieldred one happens first, then I have to sacrifice my Master of the Wild Hunt, and then a wolf comes out. If it happens the other way around, then I get my wolf, and then I get to choose whether or not I want to keep the wolf token, or my Master of the Wild Hunt. Obviously, I would like the other one to happen. I want to keep my Master of the Wild Hunt, so which way does it work? You can kind of imagine the conversation between these two cards. Sacrifice! No! Will you accept this wolf as an offering? So how does this work? Well, there's a concept called active player, non-active player ordering. So, the active player, in this case me, puts my trigger to get a wolf on the stack. Then, the non-active player, my opponent with Shieldred, puts their trigger on the stack. Then, it resolves from the top down. Therefore, the Shieldred trigger resolves, and then the wolf-making trigger resolves. So in this case, I have to sacrifice my Master of the Wild Hunt, and then afterwards, I get a wolf token. For our next example, our opponent is attacking us with Vorinclex, Voice of Hunger, and we have a Mother of Runes on our side of the field. We block their Vorinclex, Voice of Hunger, and then we tap Mother of Runes and give it protection from green. So, what happens in this scenario? Our Mother of Runes has protection from green and is blocking the Vorinclex. The Vorinclex can't deal combat damage to our Mother of Runes. So, what about trample? Does the other damage trample over? The answer to this question is yes. Whenever we're dealing with combat damage and trample, it's important to remember that the creature has to deal enough damage to kill the target before moving onwards. So even if something has protection from something, or is indestructible, for example, then the creature deals damage as though it was dealing lethal, and then the rest tramples over. In this case, Vorinclex would deal 1 damage to Mother of Runes, which has protection from green and lives, and you still take 6 damage. Let's move on to our last scenario, and it's one that I've heard before many times. So, in this example, we have an opponent that plays Merciless Resolve, sacrificing a 2/2 zombie token. And we have a Lightning Bolt. A common question amongst beginner players is, can I Lightning Bolt that zombie in order to stop him from sacrificing it and drawing 2 cards? I think that this kind of question always pops up because people see things happen like a giant growth being responded to by a lightning bolt, and then the creature dying. It seems as though the giant growth never actually got cast in the first place. But the important difference between these two is that you can always respond to effects and spells, but you can't respond to people paying costs, which is what this sacrifice ability is. After the sacrifice happens and the spell goes on the stack, then you can respond in some way. but by that point, the zombie token has already been sacrificed. In short, you can never respond to people paying for the costs of their spells. That's it for the video today. If you have your own rules questions, feel free to ask them in the comments and they may show up in a later video of what happens if. If you enjoyed the video today, feel free to hit that like button. If you really enjoyed it, feel free to hit that subscribe button. And as always, I'll see you next video.